Hello, welcome to the Tea Party Hardy channel. We are regularly told about how harsh the justice system is on black men in America, how they never get a break, and are held to far stricter standards than their white counterparts. Let's see how terribly harsh it can be with an exploration of Rashid Brimmage, who is in fact a black man, though you might know him better by his new name, the famed Granny Puncher. Today, we're going to explore, in short, this master criminal who has finally found fame by punching a 92-year-old white woman who he saw walking toward him on 3rd Avenue and East 16th Street in Gramercy Park, Manhattan, at about 3:30 p.m. on Friday, June 12th. With over 100 arrests and releases, Rashid Brimmage, being only 31, seems to still not be aware of all the messages telling people how harshly blacks are treated by both the police and the justice system. So, it's a mystery why he would so easily give in to his urge to punch an elderly white woman so frail she was using a metal walker. Where was his fear of all the overbearing treatment awaiting him for daring such an evil act? Was he counting on no one caring enough to report it? Or that the cops wouldn't care enough to come get him? He wasn't asked, so we still don't know. After all, he is in New York, where the tyranny of the system is so bad they moved to no cash bail as the law of the land, and this was his land. All of this oppression of black men has oddly led to a land of freedom for Rashid Brimmage and all others who love doing what they want, from punching people, sexually assaulting them, rioting, protesting, and pandemics, are all going without prosecution or jail time in countless examples. Of course, the secret is, it is all allowed as long as the acts match the sentiment of the Democrat power structure. Rashid Brimmage knows, like all New Yorkers, better to riot, protest, or punch people than to try and attend church. He has surely seen his Democrat leaders cheering on endless protests to groups who refuse to hear, "Yes, we will give you whatever you want. Come on, man. We're on your side," while seeing churches' gates welded shut and funerals for non-George Floyds refused. It seems Rashid Brimmage has more experience with how to deal successfully with Democrat lawmakers in his 31 years of crime-filled life than any Republican who ever served in New York in the past 50 years, and probably far more. He keeps working to find this oppressive, overbearing, black man-hating justice system, but 103 arrests later, he still is on the street struggling to find it. It was this latest event that propelled him to become a Fox News homepage and YouTube star for his recorded decking of Miss Geraldine, his 92-year-old co-star, who was never asked if she wanted to join him in his 15 minutes of fame and take a fall for his rise to fame. Sadly for him, no other news sources would help him grow in fame, as they ignored his story. They were still too busy reporting how America mistreats blacks in movies, TV, schools, and everything else, to report on him punching a 92-year-old white woman on the street in broad daylight. Miss Geraldine had spent her life teaching children of all races in different schools in New York, and in her retirement, visiting parks and taking walks to keep up her health and spirits. The media knows a villain when they see one, and Rashid Brimmage is no villain to them. All of this dedication Miss Geraldine showed to her fellow man is anathema to Rashid Brimmage and his enablers of New York's penal and court system, which has made plain Miss Geraldine's rights are far below Mr. Brimmage's. How far? As low as that piece of sidewalk, and just below that fire hydrant that now owns a piece of Miss Geraldine's face skin. She put it like this: "I thought a brick hit me, or something hit me, on the left side of my head, and I went right down and hit my head against the hydrant. Blood was coming out, not pouring blood, but blood was dripping." After all that, Miss Geraldine still has enough sense to realize the need to withhold her last name for safety reasons. She's wise enough to know who has the rights and protections in her city, and she knows it's not her. While Rashid Brimmage was arrested on Tuesday and charged with assault after investigators recognized him from video footage of the attack. The frequent offender can now add this to his rap sheet of 103 prior times he has been arrested just since 2005. So far, he has been busy with petty crimes, sex offenses, sources said. He was convicted of sexual misconduct in 2012, then arrested for 2 sex offenses in 2014, police sources said, where in May of that year he was busted for exposing and fondling himself on an East Harlem street, the sources said. Not to confuse anyone that the justice system was being used correctly or fairly, only 2 months later in July, he was arrested again, this time for grabbing a woman's behind at 3rd Avenue Deli. In 2017, he failed to notify authorities that he had changed his address and had to register as a sex offender, state records show. By the time of Friday's attack, Rashid Brimmage was juggling 3 open criminal cases in the city, according to court records. But wait, there's more! He was arrested February 17th for a misdemeanor assault and harassment charge for an incident that happened in the Bronx a week earlier. Of course he was released without bail in this case because it's New York. So he was brought in at the borough again, March 5th, and slapped with a trespassing summons, according to court records. Of course he still has to be him, and on March 9th, 4 days later, in Manhattan, he was hit with criminal possession of a controlled substance, assault, and attempted assault charges. He was given a desk appearance ticket for the bust and ordered to return to court at the end of July. The song says, "It's hard out here for a pimp." Maybe, but not so hard for black man Rashid Brimmage. We're not sure why the media keeps telling us how awful it is, when Mr. Brimmage is doing his best to show them all. They have no idea what they are talking about. We'll see you in the future.